Welcome you again to the lecture 20, and we will talk a little more problems on the riveted joints. Then we will also talk about the lozenge joint, sometimes called diamond joint, and this is also called joint of uniform strength in riveted joint. We'll also discuss about the joints used in boilers, pressure vessels, long tubes, and the design procedures for longitudinal joint and in longitudinal joint in pressure vessel, design procedure for circumferential lap joint in boilers. Longitudinal joints are normally board joints, and then we'll be at the end we'll be talking about the eccentric loaded riveted joint. So these are the topics we are going to talk today, and we start with some problems, one or two problems of the structural riveted joint. So the example problem is, it is asked to design a riveted joint which is a double riveted lap joint using MS plates of 9.5 millimeter thick, and we have to calculate the efficiency of this joint provided the material property that is sigma T is 90 megapascal and shear stress is equal to 75 megapascal and the compressive stress is equal to 150 megapascal. These are the strengths that this material can withstand. These are the permissible stresses beyond which the material is going to fail. These are the permissible stresses. Right. So in the joint design, there are several parameters to be done. The joint looks like this. This is a lap joint. It is loaded from both the sides. The plate thickness T is given 9.5 millimeter. So it is a double riveted lap joint. So one plate is sitting over the other, but still there are several parameters to be known. First thing is required to know is what should be the diameter of the rivet. What should be the diameter of the rivet? Diameter of the rivet. So what should be the diameter of the rivet? This is the first point to be known. Second is we have to know what should be the pitch. Now how far they should be, two consecutive rivets should be placed so that we can do this. And we should also know whether it is a zigzag or chain riveting. It is actually a chain riveting as shown in the figure. So if it is a chain riveting, we have to know the back pitch, that is the distance between the two consecutive successive rows of rivets. So what is the PV or back pitch? And we also know the margin M. So these are the design parameters: the pitch, the back pitch, the margin, the diameter of the rivet. Once we know this, then we know the joint of this, the total joint of the rivet. After doing that, we have to also check the efficiency of the joint and whether what should be the joint failure criteria: the shearing or the crushing or the tearing or the margin shearing. So what should be the joint criteria? We have to check. So we have to check and we have to find the efficiency. So these are several steps. Well, first to find out the diameter, second is to find out pitch, third is to find out the back pitch, fourth is to find out the margin, fifth is to check different stresses, different conditions, that is shearing condition, the tearing conditions, the crossing conditions, the margin failure conditions, and out of that we have to find out the efficiency. Right. So these are the total parameters. If you know, then we can do the complete design of the joint. So to know that we know that if the plate thickness is more than this 8 millimeter, we can use Unwin's formula to find out the diameter of the rivet. Or to find out the diameter of the rivet, we can compare the shearing strength with the crossing strength of the rivet. So the crossing strength and shearing strength should be equal, and from that we can find out the diameter of the rivet. So now if the thickness of the plate is given, in this case we will find out the diameter of the rivet hole. So first thing we will find out the diameter of the rivet hole. So we can find out the diameter of the rivet hole using Unwin's formula. D is equal to 6 root over T. 6 root over T. T is in millimeter. So that is 6 into root over 9.5. It is coming out to 18.5 millimeter. So this is as per the Unwin's formula. We started top. So this is as per the Unwin's formula. Now second parameter is to find out the pitch. The pitch we can find out in case of double riveted joint. You see, this is a double riveted joint. Per pitch length there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rivets, but it is half from this rivet and half from this rivet. So that is 1, half from this rivet and half from this rivet. So that is you see, if we consider the pitch length, so half rivets from this one and half rivet from this one, half rivet from this one, half. So per pitch length there will be 2 rivets in a pitch length. So the rivet diameter will be taken as the diameter of hole, as the difference between them is very small. The diameter of the rivet and diameter of the rivet hole, they are almost same. So we are considering the rivet diameter is equal to diameter of the rivet hole. Rivet can fail in shear due to crossing. So we will first determine the shearing and the crossing strength of the rivet and equate the smaller of the two to the tearing strength of the plate to determine the pitch. So to determine the pitch, to determine the pitch, to find out pitch, find the shearing strength, of one rivet and crossing strength of one rivet. So find out minimum out of them. The minimum. So shearing strength is equal to pi by 4 d square into tau s, and this is equal to n into d into t. N is equal to 1 d into t into sigma c, and minimum we find out that in this case it is coming out to pi by 4 into, in this 18.5 square into tau is given, in this case is 75 Newton per millimeter square, and it is coming out to be 20.16 kilonewton. And in this case it is d is 18.5, t is 9.5, and sigma c is in this case 150 Newton per millimeter square, and entire thing is coming out to 20.36 kilonewton. So out of these the minimum is see, this is the shearing strength, pi by 4 d square tau into this is equal to 20.16, and in this case it will be this. So a minimum out of this is minimum is 20.16 kilonewton. This has to be compared to the the tearing strength of the plate with the shearing strength of it. So pitch is found out. Pitch is found out by comparing. Pitch is found out by comparing the tearing strength of plate with the shearing strength per pitch length. Per pitch length. So in a pitch there are two rivets. So half here and half here. So it will half 2. Half and half is equal to 1. So the per pitch length, the shearing strength will be per pitch length tearing strength per pitch length is equal to P minus D into the thickness, this is the area, into sigma T is equal to, there are two rivets per pitch length. There are two rivets, half and half 1. So there are, out of the 4 rivets, half is there. So half by 4 by 2 is equal to 2 rivets. So that will be, and they are in single shear. See, they are in single shear. Single shear. So as they are in single shear, so 2 into pi by 4 into d square, this is the number of rivets per pitch length. So into tau s. So in this case P is equal to pi by 2, this gets cancelled, pi by 2 into d square divided by t, this t comes here, into tau s divided by sigma t plus d, this d will come this side. So in this case we can say pi by 2 into 18.5 square divided by 9.5 into tau is 75 divided by 90 plus diameter is 18.5 and it is coming to 65.55 millimeter, right? So in this case if we find out the pitch is equal to, so pitch is equal to 65.55 millimeter. We have to check whether this is good enough or not, because while riveting you have to keep a tool, so the rivet head should spread to some extent. So while riveting, the tool holder, the back plate, everything should be such that the pitch should be such that the head forming operation is not obstructed. There should not be any problem. It should not be very close. The piece should not be very close, so that while head forming, if you can't place the tool. So in practice, that if it is P is greater than 3D diameter of the rivet, 3 times the diameter of the rivet, the head forming is no problem. We will not be having any problem. So in this case, the diameter is 18.5. So check is P should be greater than 3 diameter for comfortable head forming. So P is actually where, so 3 into 18.5, it is 54, so it is less than 60. So pitch 65.55 is actually greater than this, so it is very comfortable. So no problem, so we will accept this pitch as equal to this. Presently we will expect that pitch should be equal to 65.55 millimeter. If pitch is known, then you should know the back pitch. The back pitch or PB or PB, it must be between 2.5 D to 3D. For chain riveting, higher values are taken, so we can take PB is equal to 3D for chain riveting. So we can take PB is equal to 18.5 into 3 is equal to 55.5 millimeter, or 56 you can take. Now margin. Margin M is determined by equating the shearing strength of the rivet, smaller of the shearing strength or crossing strength of the rivet. In this case, shearing strength is smaller, so we will consider the smaller of these two. For margin M, we have to consider the smaller of the shearing and crossing strength, smaller of the shearing or crossing strength. Of the rivet to the margin shear, to the shearing, to the margin shear. So margin shear is actually 2 into M into T into tau, that is equal to 2 into pi by 4 d square into tau s. This 2 is for the, why we are taking this, because here the shearing is less than crossing. So we take shearing, and there are 2 rivets per pitch length, so we have taken this thing. Per pitch length there are 2 rivets, so in this case AM is coming out to be pi by 4 into d square by t, in this case pi by 4 into 18.5 pi by 4 pi square divided by t is 9.5. In this case it is coming out 28.3 millimeter. Now we have to see the minimum acceptable value is 1.5. Minimum acceptable value is M is equal to 1.5 D, right? So we have to see 1.5 into 18.5, so it is about 27, it is equal to 27.5, but the margin calculated is 28.3, so we can take M is equal to 28.3, which is acceptable. So this is M is acceptable. So what did we design? We have designed the joint and we have found out the several parameters. So the parameters required in the initial design, in this case we have decided that we will find out what should be the pitch diameter. We came out to it is 18.5. Pitch we come out as 60. Pitch is coming out to be 65. Pitch we have come out. We have found out pitch is equal to 65. I think it is 65.6. 65.57 or 6. 65.6 5. Back pitch also we have considered 55.5. Margin we have considered 28.3. Then we have to check whether everything is correct and what should be the efficiency. To find out the efficiency, we know we have to find out the list of the shearing, the crushing, the tensile, the margin shear and everything. Then we will find out the so diameter is actually standardized based on the drill size, because if the diameter is coming out to be 18.0325, that we can't drill it, because you have to drill as per the drill bit size available in the market. That's why it is standardized as per the drill. So the rivet diameters are less than the hole diameter by 1 millimeter. So during the head forming operation, because it is compressed, so the diameter of the rivet will swell and it will increase and it will fit into the well, into the drill hole made for rivet to rivet. So we are not describing the standard hole for the rivet, and we have to see actually what should be the diameter of the drill available, so that based on that we should look for that. If diameter is 18.5, that should not be there that we will be doing the 18.5 hole. We should be looking for the what is the nearest drill bit size available, and based on that we have to do. Now to find out the efficiency, we have to find out what should be the minimum of. So to find out the efficiency, we have to find out least minimum of P shearing, P crushing, P tearing and P margin, and divided by solid strength of the plate per pitch length. So let us find out what should be the strength of this tensile strength of the plate without hole or intact plate. Strength of the plate without a hole or solid strength per pitch length. So it should be just like this. This is the thickness and this is the area of the cross section. So what should be the P1 is equal to the pitch into the thickness into this is the pitch into sigma T. So in this case, pitch we have coming out to be 65.6, thickness is 9.5 into sigma T is 90, so it is coming 56.2 kilonewton. Then we will consider the shearing strength. Rivets per pitch length. Per pitch there are 2 rivets. So because see, if this is the figure and the pitch length half and half, here 1, half and half, here 1, 2 rivets. So per pitch length there will be 2 rivets. So 2 rivets into pi by 4 into 18.5 d square into 75, and it's coming out to 40.3 kilonewton. Now we have to consider the crossing strength. Of the rivets in rivets per pitch length. So in this case there are two rivets, effective two rivets per pitch length. So P crossing will be equal to P minus D. Crossing strength will be D into T per rivet, area per rivet. There are two rivets, and into sigma C. So D is 18.5, 9.5 into 2 into sigma C is in this case is 150 and is 52.7 kilonewton. Then the tearing strength. Tearing strength will be the tearing. So the plate may tear at this section or this section. If it is tearing at this section, so what should be the pitch minus D? So pitch minus D into T is the thickness of the is the area of the area resistant to the tear into sigma T. In this case it is 65.6 minus 18.5 into 9.5 is thickness into sigma T is in this case is given, and it is given to be 90 Newton per millimeter square, and when you multiply you get 40.36 kilonewton. Now the margin shearing strength. So in this case it is 2mt into tau, that is P margin, and this case 2 into margin is we got 28.3 and shearing strength is 75 into 9.85, 9.5 is the thickness. So this is T, this is tau, this is M, and this is 2. So it is coming out to, margin shear is coming out to be 40.32. So out of this is 40.32, this is 40.36, this is 52, this is 40.3. Out of this, 40.3 is the minimum, that is the shearing strength, this is the minimum. So the shearing strength is minimum because 40.3 is less than 40.32 is less than 40.36 is less than 52.7. So out of that, so efficiency is actually minimum, that is 40.3 divided by the solid strength of the plate is equal to 56.2 into 100, and that is coming out to be 71.6. 9%. So the design parameters are, in this case, diameter is 18.5, pitch is 65.6, P back is 55.5, and M is equal to 28.3, efficiency is equal to 71.7%. So this is the entire design of the plate. So using these values you can actually do the joint. So after that will be, so this one problem we will talking about the lozenge joint, or sometimes it is called diamond shaped joint, or sometimes joint of uniform strength also. So we will be talking that. So this is the configuration of the joint. This is the back plate and the main plate, and on top of that there is a diamond shaped or a lozenge shaped plate, and these types of joints are mostly used in bridges, the trusses and the girders, where the width of the plate is known in advance. So in this case, the width of the plate is known in advance. Plate is known in advance. So lozenge type or diamond shaped joints are preferred in the places where it is a bridge or the truss or the girder, and the plate thickness is always, width of the plate is also known. Plate thickness, the width of the plate is known in advance. These joints have uniform or equal strength in all modes of failure. There are several modes of failure: crushing, tearing and all. It can fail in this section, one section, it can fail in two section, it can fail in three section, and it can fail in four section. Almost all these sections have the same strength. Marginal adjustments in calculated dimensions may slightly reduce or increase the strength in particular section or mode, but the overall strength in all the failure sections and failure modes will be same. These joints are normally double cover butt joint with rivet so arranged that there is only one rivet in the outermost row. See, the innermost row will be the maximum rivets, then little less than that, then lesser, and the outermost row will be having only one rivets. That is, their number increases towards the inner row. As you go from outside to inside, the number of rivets in particular section will go on increasing. So the load carrying capacity of the joint at the outer, you see, if it is same, so you can load carrying capacity P is equal to sigma T, and the width is already known, B minus D is this one, B minus D into T, this is the thickness of the plate. So the load carrying capacity is the load carrying capacity is equal to B minus D into T into sigma T. So this is already we can find out. In this case, B is the width of the plate, T is the thickness, D is the diameter of the hole, sigma T is permissible tensile strength of the material, plate material. Rivet diameter is normally used, in this case if you come across such a joint. So diameter of the rivet, if you want to find out, dia of the rivet is, you can use Unwin's formula. That D is equal to 6 root over T, that is Unwin's formula. Or Unwin's relationship. But in this case, the important design parameter is the number of rivets. Number of rivets, this is very important parameter. Number of parameter, once you find out the number of rivets, you have to try to arrange it in this 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. B width is known. Once you find out the number of rivets, margin you have to subtract from both the side. Then you have to count how many number of pitch is there. So in this case, the B minus 3D, 1.25 into D, that is, you subtract and divided by 3 is going to give you the pitch. So the rivets, the determination of number of rivets is the main task. for the required force that is carried by this joint. So this is the very number of rivet is the important task. And once you know that, you can find out what is the pitch. And other back pitch and other things we can easily know. Of course, we would first determine whether the strength of the rivet is less in shearing or crossing, because we have to check whether the strength of the rivet is more in crossing or more in shearing, and this will actually depend on the relative magnitude of the shearing strength and the crossing strength and the cross-sectional area of the rivet and its projected area. Right? Then once we know the number of rivets, we have to arrange them in diamond shapes. And after that we have to find out the pitch, then the back pitch and the margin pitch. So this joint is designed not to tear in the outermost row. So when that is the outermost row is this row, this is the row 1, and we should design the joint in such a way that is no tear in the outermost row. No tear in the outermost row. That is the design criteria. Then we have to check at row 2 which is the next inner row and weakened by 2 rivet holes. You see, this is the rivet, this is the section where only one rivet is there, and this section is weakened by only one rivet. The second row is weakened by 2 rivet hole, and we have to check the tearing at this section. When the plate is tearing at this section, it has to be simultaneously, the front rivet has to be either shear or tear, which is less. That means the tearing is possible if the outermost row, that is row 1, tearing at this section 2 is possible only when the rivets in the outermost row either shears or crossed at the same time. That means this type of joint has one more possible mode of failure, which comprises tearing along an inner row accompanied by shearing or crossing of rivets in all the outer rows. So similarly, if you can consider the tearing at this inner row, simultaneously we have to consider the tearing or shearing of all the rivets in the outer row along with the tearing of the inner row. The strength of this mode is denoted by, this is the formula. Suppose you want to find out the strength or tearing strength at this section. So PTS2 is tearing strength at row 2 in shear. That is all the front rivets one. This one is shearing. That is sigma T B minus 2D, because D here and D B minus 2D into T is the area of cross section at this section into thickness. This is the area. B minus 2D into T, this is the area into the tensile strength of the plate plus the shearing strength of this rivet at section 1, that is pi by 4d square into this. The tearing strength at this along with the crossing strength of this rivet is equal to this term plus, if this is crossing text, this crossing at 1 section. This is shearing at 1 section. This is 1, this is 2 section. Similarly, tearing at 3 is always associated with either all the rivets in front of this is shearing or tearing along with the crossing of all the rivets at 2 and section 1. So this is we can find. So there are 3 rivets. So this is B minus 3D because D 3D into T is the area into sigma T is the strength of the plate plus the shearing strength of the rivets. So this is how we should calculate. So that's why as we puncture more, the plate becomes weak. Simultaneously, the shear it is also supported by the front rivet. So that's why, though the number of rivet hole decreases the strength of this section in tearing, it is also increasing, supporting the tearing at this section by the shear strength of the rivets in the outer rows. So an example on the lozenge joint. So it is about 2 steel plates of 12.5 millimeter thick, and that to be joined using a lozenge joint and having 2 double cover strap or 2 cover strap, and the joint has to carry a tensile load of 500 kilonewton, and we have to find out the width of the plate. And the key point is that the plate is not to be weakened by more than 1 rivet hole. That means the weakest portion of the plates is the one which is having 1 rivet hole. If you are creating more holes, it has to be supported. So you have to design the joint and show various dimensions on the sketch. And the material property of the plates and rivets are given. The sigma T for plate is 600 megapascal, and for crossing strength, the plate and rivets, it is 920 megapascal, and shear strength of the rivet is 400 megapascal. But the factor of safety of the joint in this problem has to be taken 4.5, it is given. So when the factor of safety is given, so the strength, the permissible limit will be, in case of 600 by 4.5, in this case it will be 920 by 4.5, and this will be 490 divided by 4.5. So in this case what we have to do? We have to find out the diameter of the hole, the pitch, the number of rivets, the back piece, the margin, the efficiency. All these things we have to find out. This is diameter, this is pitch, the number of rivets, back pitch, the margin, the efficiency. We also have to see whether the joint is stronger in crossing or the rivet is stronger in, the rivet is stronger in crossing or the shearing. In this case we will consider a double shear of the rivet. We will consider the shearing of the rivet to be double shear because it is a double cover strap butt joint. So to first of thing, to find out the diameter of the rivet, we will use the Unwin's formula, that is Unwin's formula. D is equal to 6 rate over T. So this is the diameter of the rivet hole and coming out to be this much, and the next 21.5 is the nearest. We have just equated it to 21.5 as per the drill bit size, and the corresponding rivet dia, we look in the table, it is 20 because it is coming in the, that is 14, 16, 18, 20, and then the difference up to 20, 24. After 24 it is coming in the difference of 3, that is 27, 30, 33 and like that. And that is the standard rivet diameter available in the market. Now we have to see what is the shear strength of the rivet and what is the crossing strength of the rivet, and which is better in shearing or crossing. The strength of the rivet in shear is pi by 4 d square into the shearing strength, that is we have found out to be this one by dividing the factor of safety, and the crossing strength in this case is this one. So per one single rivet it is coming out, shearing strength is coming out to be 34 kilonewton in single shear. And for crossing it is coming out to be 51.1 kilonewton. So the width of the plate, we have to find out the width of the plate, we have to see the tensile strength of the weakest section of the plate, that is the row which is weakened by only one rivet. This is as per the question. So that should be the load to carry the maximum load, the joint, the maximum load is 500 kilonewton, and in the outer row only one rivet is there, so the width minus T into the thickness of the plate into the tensile strength, that is equal to, this is the T is the thickness 12.5 and B minus T, B you do not know, 133 is the tensile strength of the plate material, and that should be equal to 5, and from that we find out the width of the plate is equal to 322.5. It is asking the questions to find out the width of the plate. Then we have to find out the number of rivets. We have already seen the crossing strength is more than the shearing strength, that means rivet will fail in shear fast, and this is a double strap butt joint, so the rivets will be in double shear. So the single shear into multiplied by the double shear factor is 1.75. That is as per the boiler regulation, which did not take twice of the single shear, but we took it as 1.75 times as per the boiler's code. The shearing strength we have found out, it is 1.7. The pi by 4 d square is the area, and the tau is the material property. That tau s we have found out to be 490 by 4.5, it is 109. And when you find out the shearing strength in this case we have calculated, and it's coming out to be 34.0 kilonewton or 34. But when it is double shear, it is coming out to be 59.5 kilonewton. So a single rivet can withstand 59.5 kilonewton, or to withstand 500 kilonewton you have to know N into the shearing strength, which is equal to 59.7. N is equal to, in this case is coming out to 5.7, or almost 6 rivets are required to withstand 500 kilonewton. Now if you consider the crossing strength we have already found out, it is 51 kilonewton. So 500 by 51, in this case it is coming 9.8, and it's almost 10 rivets up. So one case shearing requires 6 rivets and in crossing requires 10. So to be safer, we took 10 rivets as the 10 rivets. So using 10 rivets we have to arrange them in the lozenge shape. So 1, 2 rivets in this section, 3 rivets in this section, 4 rivets in this section. So 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10 number of rivets. So this is perfectly making a diamond shape joint. So 1 rivet, 2 rivets, 3 rivets, 4 rivets. So total is 10 rivets per plate. So this is making the entire arrangement. Then we have to calculate the rivet arrangement we have seen. Then we have to find out what should be the pitch and what should be the width, total width of the plate we have known. See, the width of the plate is known. This is the width of the plate, and in this case this is one piece, this is another piece, this is third piece, and there are margin. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, so this is this is 3 rivets arranged, 3 rivets are arranged, then 2 rivets and then 1 rivet. So from here to here it is margin, from here to here it is margin. Total is the width of the plate B. So this is the plate, and this is arranged in the rivets are arranged in this manner. So this from here to here it is P, from here to here is another P. So this is from P. So it is B is equal to 3P plus 2 into 1.5 D. So D is already known, B is already known, so you have to find out P. So using that we can find out B is equal to 3P plus 3D. So in this case B is already found out, the width 322.25 and it is equal to 3P plus 3 into diameter of the rivet is coming out to be 20. So P is coming out to be 322.25. So 322.25 minus 60, that is equal to 60, 25, 2, 6. So 262.25 divided by 3, and it is coming out to be about 85.9 millimeter. So the pitch P 85.9 or 86 millimeter. So back pitch is equal to 2.5 or 3 times, or we can say 2.5 into D, 21.5, that is rivet hole diameter, that is equal to, we can say 53.75 or equal to 54 millimeter. Then cover plate dimension is equal to 0.625 into T, 12.5 is equal to 7.8 millimeter. Then, so to find out efficiency, we have to find out the tearing strength, shearing strength and crossing strength at different locations. We know the shearing strength of single rivet we calculated, but in double shear it is coming out to 51. So you have to consider there are 10 rivets, so the shearing strength of 10 rivets will be for the entire rivets is coming out to be this much, 1.7 double square. This is the area, this is the shearing strength, and the rivet diameter is 20. So total is 594 kilonewton. crossing strength per rivet is coming out to be 51 kilonewton, so 10 rivets, so we have calculated this. Then we have to consider the failure, tearing failure at this location. The tearing failure, total width minus one hole punctured, so this is one, this is not a hole, so the one hole, so the D minus D, D is the diameter of the hole. Here it is 20, here is 21, because this is the hole dia, this is the rivet dia. So into the thickness, this is thickness, and this is the diameter of the hole, and this is the sigma T, and it is coming out to 500. Similarly, we will consider the at this section, when we are tearing at this section, so width minus 2D, so 2 into D into the thickness of the plate into the strength, plus the rivet in this case has to cross or shear. The shearing, it is actually 59.4, crossing is 51, so we will consider out of them, because in this case out of the shearing and crossing, the crossing is weaker, so we will consider the strength, tearing strength plus this one. So this is shearing, double shear. So in this case it is coming out to be this much, 51 point. In this case it is coming out to be 51.4, because this is the W minus width, that is 322.5 minus 2D into the thickness of the plate is 12.5. Thickness of the plate is 12.5, and the sigma T is 133, plus the front row rivet that has to shear or cross. So crossing is weaker one, but if you to find out the shearing, it will be more than this one, so you don't consider, because you want to find out the least of among this. So if you want to say that the plate shear at this section, there are 3 rivet holes, so 322 minus 3 into this, 3 into diameter of the hole into plate thickness into this tensile strength of the plate, plus 1 to 3 rivet has to cross. So 51 into 3. 51 is the crossing strength of the single rivet. This is P crossing of the single rivet. So total is coming out to be 581 kilonewton. But if you consider the shear, it will be 59 into 59.53. So definitely it will be more than that. At least 20 kilonewton more. Similarly, we consider this section, there are 4 rivet holes, so you will this. So out of this is the solid strength of the plate, and solid strength is 533. The strength of this joint is coming into 699. So the efficiency will be least of this, least of these, all these things, and it is coming out to 500 this. So the efficiency of the joint is coming out to be least of all these things. The least is 500, because you see 500, this is 500. Previously shearing is 590, crossing is 510. PT1 section, at this section it is 500, so this is the weakest section, so this is 93. So this joint is, so we have found out the P, the PB, the margin, the efficiency, and the width of the plate, all the things we have found out. So we have to draw the figure, and as per this arrangement, and we have known this PB, we have known the pitch, we have known the width, we have known the margin, everything is known. We can find out the joint configuration.